here are the ultimate PC and console settings for Warzone 4. I've spent about 19 hours trying to perfect these and get these right for you guys. So here is how the video is going to be laid out. We're gonna have 5 parts. Part 1, controller settings. Part 2, graphics settings. Part 3, audio settings. Part 4, interface and color settings so you can see more on the map. And then last but not least, we're gonna hop into that Nvidia control panel and make sure we have all of our drivers and our settings up to date in there as well. So let's hop right in to our controller settings. Part 1, controller settings. Okay, let's make sure our horizontal stick sensitivity is at 6.6. If you're new to the game, 6.6 is definitely the way to go. I don't mess with anything else off that. A button layout you can change. Stick layout, some people do Southpaw, Legacy, all of that. I don't do that, just default makes it easier for me. You can swap those if you like to do that. Controller vibration off, you don't want that on. And then dead zone inputs. Now guys, I can't emphasize this enough. For some reason, when you load into Warzone 4, they've been putting these up to 10. I don't know why. Unless your controller has extreme stick drift, and if you need to be on 10, you need to throw your controller away and buy a new controller. And if you don't have any money, start a GoFundMe or put a W in chat and we'll see if somebody from the community can help you out. But you need a new controller if you're on 10. Do not put it on 10. I put mine, it's a brand new controller, around 4. Most people can put it at 5 on the left and right stick. Now, do not forget left and right trigger. You want this at 0. You don't want nothing. You want no delay, no dead zone, no input, nothing on your trigger for ADS and firing. So those are the settings for your controller. Now aiming, there's a couple different things in here you want to make sure you take a look at. 1, make sure aim assist is on and ADS aim assist. Also go into aiming advanced settings. They've changed some stuff in here. You may notice that it's on standard. You want to change that to dynamic. That's going to be the one you want. And then you're going to go customize sensitivity per zoom. Here are my settings. Now these are comfortable for me. I'm not saying you need to do this. You can leave them off and put them at a 1 dot and that's totally fine. But if you want to make an adjustment, these are the ones that I've tested out and used and they feel very, very good in game. 0.95, 0.90, 0.85, and 0.80. Now, make sure you go back out and then looking at your motion sensor behavior off, and that's going to be aiming. Now, movement, tactical sprint assist. Now, make sure that is selected under sprint assist. That gives you the auto tac sprint. Then make sure you open it up with that little X button. Sprint assist delay. We don't want delays. We want it now. We are now people. We want it now. So 0 right there. And then sprint assist sideways. We want that. We want this. Sprint assist backwards. We want that. We want it on. Make sure that is on. Mantle assist off. Now we don't want help with assisting with that. And we don't want crouch assist either. Corner slice is preference. I like corner slice because you can peek around corners. So if you're that peeker's advantage means a whole lot of different things if you're using the corner slice. Slide dive behavior. A lot of people are preaching hybrid. I think that messes up omni movement. I'm preaching tap to slide. I think that's a little bit better, and hold to dive. Sprint restore on, slide maintains sprint on. Parachute automatic behavior. I've seen some people load in with that on. Turn that off. That means you can pull your chute sooner. Mantle cancels reload. We don't want to be canceling reload. We want to be reloading while we're mantling. All right, movement advanced settings. Here we go. A couple things in here you want to take a look at. Make sure we have it auto move forward off, auto door peek off, and then we want to bash that door. So make sure you have that on. Vehicle behavior, just leave it as it is. We don't really want to go into advanced settings. We really don't need that. Now, combat. There are a few changes here that are super important. Armor plate behavior, apply all. For some reason, it doesn't have that on auto start. It has apply 1. I don't know why, but it does. The new setting, body shield and finish mode behavior. Do you want a finishing move? Prioritize that, or body shield only. Finishing move only. That's gonna be up to your preference, but it's a new setting. I really like the finishing move. The body shield is cool, but not in the Warzone, it's not a big deal, and more in multiplayer. Then you want to come down to combat advanced settings, and we're going to make some changes in here because it just makes sense. Weapon mount exit, you want that instant. You don't want that short delay. Tap to interact. Remember, this was changed in your multiplayer settings, and you need to change it back to Warzone settings because they share a universal settings now, which honestly is not a good move. It's one of the things that drives me crazy with the update. So tap to interact, make sure you do this. And then a lot of people have missed this, and it is new to Warzone. Sprint cancels reload. So you don't want to be all running and then you try to reload and then sprint again and it cancels your reload. That I've died a lot of times, and I'm pretty sure you have too from that. Make sure that is off. So your sprinting will not cancel your reload. You will run and gun at the same time. Graphic settings. Let me run you through these because there's some changes and some tweaks. Full screen exclusive. Make sure it's your card and your refresh rate is correct. Now, there's a couple of things here. Nvidia Reflex low latency. I know it's tried and true. It comes stock with on. It should be on plus boost. Eco mode, custom. You don't want efficiency or low consumption. You're not worried about running up that electric bill. VSync off, VSync off. Custom frame limit, unlimited. Why would you want anything but unlimited? Native here, pause game rendering off, reduce quality when active. I put 10 minutes. I don't usually walk away from the game without turning it off, but if I do, that'll help save some time and battery. High dynamic range off, and then your calibration is automatically locked out. Now, quality. Here is what I do, and I highly recommend this, and I'll give you a few reasons why. Custom. You can do, extreme, ultra, balance, minimum. Just do custom. Render resolution, don't over render, don't under render, just render normal at 100%. Dynamic resolutions turn off. Upscale and sharpening. Now there's a lot of options. It can be overwhelming. Here is why I choose to do Fidelity FX Cast. When I choose Nvidia DLSS, as you saw, I have a 4090. It can handle it. It'll jump my frames up. Same with DLLA, same with image scaling. They all look pretty, but then when you zoom in, when you're shooting, it gets fuzzy. I don't want fuzzy, I want sharp. I wanna make sure I can see what I am looking at and enemies as they're running across the map. Fidelity FX Cast does that. Now, if I go to show more, I can handle 100% strength. There are some PCs that maybe can't do that. So you might wanna back that down to 80%, 85%, 90%, right around there. You figure out your computer and what that is gonna look like. DLSS frame generation off. VRAM scale target, I put mine at 90 at maxed out. I have 24 gigs of RAM, I'm not totally worried about it. Variable rate shading is currently off. You can run that. I'm just gonna run it off. I haven't really noticed a huge difference. One of the great things about Fidelity FX Cast strength and cast itself is you can make a lot of changes here and the game still looks great. So texture resolution low, texture filter normal, depth of field off. Why would you want that? They only need that for campaign and multiplayer if you wanted to try it. Detail quality normal, particle resolution normal. Bullet impacts, I like to see them. It doesn't do anything to your frames, doesn't add anything to the game. It's more of just a visual thing that I like, but you can leave it off or on. I choose on. Persistent effects off. Shader quality. Now you can do high, you can do low. I prefer medium. I think I like the look of that. It gives a little more detail in the water and the walls. So I go with that one. On-demand texture streaming, I do optimize. It downloads a higher quality. I have enough room to do that. If you don't, go to minimal, so that'll be help you with your PC. You don't get all jammed up. Local texture streaming, normal. Now we're gonna go into shadow and lighting. Shadow quality, normal. Now there's gonna be a lot of offs here. Don't worry, your game will still look great. That's what that Fidelity FX Cast is there for. Green space shadows, off. Occlusion, off. Green space reflections, off. Static reflection quality, low. On your environment, tessellation, off. Volumetric quality, low. Deferred physics quality, off. Weather grid, off. Water quality, off. That is your quality piece. Now onto view. Motion reduction preset off. FOV, you're gonna wanna run 110 to 115 FOV. You can run 120. Yes, that makes you move look like you move a little bit faster. But what I like about 110 is it takes like your player box, right? You got a box around the player. And in the chest, it makes that player bigger, and then it makes that chest for aim assist look a little bit bigger, and you get a little bit stickier aim assist because your target is bigger. So I do a 110. Keep in mind that universal settings piece. So if you're 90 in multiplayer, it's gonna show 90 here, and you're gonna have to change it to 110. It's a pesky feature, but 110 to 115. ADS field of view effective. Weapon view wide, third person 90, vehicle wide, world motion blur off, weapon motion blur off, and then make sure you're not all shaky at default 100 or less 75. You want least 50, and third person ADS. And then inverted flashbang, I'll let that leave up to you. I definitely leave it on. Now on to audio, and I know nobody can hear any footsteps right now, including me, who paid for audio to be done, and I have a DAC and I have all this stuff. I can't hear it either, guys, but here are the audio settings that seem to make it better but not perfect. I know they're investigating it as of this video. Master game volume 100, gameplay music volume 0. Don't listen to music. It covers up everything else. Dialogue 30, effects 100, cinema music I put it 4, but that's about it. Default system, I use the enhanced headphone mode. If you saw my video, you can go check it out. I paid to win for the enhanced audio, and I go in here and you get your personalized and it scanned my ear. I have the whole video if you want to check it out on the channel. It does actually work pretty well. And it's a free trial right now for 30 days, and then you pay the 20 bucks, which I paid the 20 bucks and I have it on. So Treyarch mix, mono audio, mute game is off. Sorry, mute game when minimize is off. Mute license music is off. If you're streaming and you're doing this, you want to turn that on so then you don't get copyright infringement. Hearing compensation off. You don't have to do any of that. Reduce sound on. Hit marker on default. Now on voice chat, I put it at 44 so it doesn't blow out my ear. I keep all of this on. Voice chat, prox chat, body chat, last words, all lobby. Output device is at. Microphone's at 30 so I don't kill my teammates. Push to talk for me, and then just default system audio. Interface has a few things that are actually pretty interesting that you should take a look at. One, of course, obviously, I skipped the introduction movie. I don't need gameplay tips. I don't skip kill cam. You can if you want, and I don't have tool tips, so that stuff drives me crazy. Telemetry, I have that stuff up. Readability, now this one's good too, so if you want to make things bigger, but the color customization is the huge piece. I'm colorblind. There's a lot of guys that are colorblind out there. I'm one of them, but this really helps me, and I love this little dynamic thing that you can shift over on the right side here for the preview image. I do default, and I change the colors that are easier for me to see. So if you go into like I made myself bright yellow. It's so much easier to see. And then I made my teammate kind of like a bluish color, or how I see it. And then the party is green, enemy red, neutral, contested. But you can change it up in here to make it easier on your eyes so you can see a little bit better. Now, it takes a little bit to get used to, because sometimes you're like, wait a second, that's the wrong color because you're used to the other colors, but I got used to it and it's really nice. So go ahead and then go color filter 2, do both, and then do 100 so you get the best intensity and makes it really pop on screen. Now gameplay HUD, you can change your HUD bounds here. You want to bring in that really makes it nice. Square minimap, obviously I want to do round. Minimap rotation on, radar off. Actually compass, you can do horizontal, minimap or off. I leave it horizontal for now. Get your vehicle HUD, 10 seconds. You can turn that in-game text chat to off or on. Depending on how vulgar it gets, I mess with it. Crosshair static, you can definitely do that. Hit marker visuals on, damage-based hit markers on, and then you have multiple like widgets you can mess with too and play with. So, and that's gonna be the settings for your interface. Nvidia control panels. There's some things in here we need to double check. One being, let's go to change resolution. I have multiple monitors, so make sure you have the right monitor in your selection, but make sure you have it under your PC, and it's this top one right here. Like I said, I'm on 4K. You don't wanna go up here and do all these. That's not what you want. You want down here, and then make sure your refresh rate is selected. So 4K 240 for me, and then come down to it's usually use default color settings. Go to Nvidia color settings, make sure it's under highest, and make sure it's under full. Sometimes it puts it under limited after you've updated the game. I don't know why. Make sure you change that back, and then you go ahead and hit apply. Yes, keep the settings, you're good to go. Now, a couple other things. You can go into change desktop color settings. Now, most players, me included, we make it a little bit brighter. So as you can see, it's 60% in there. And then digital vibrance, I have that turned up to 70%. Think of it like saturation in the game. Just makes it pop a little bit more, makes it a little bit easier to see. And you want to make sure that you are running that on your display in your Nvidia settings. On G-Sync, make sure that is set up, because sometimes when you update the game, it's not clicked here. Make sure it's clicked and you're good to go. Let's go up to adjust image settings with preview. Now, I have it using the advanced 3D image settings. You can use your preference, emphasizing performance. I prefer the advanced 3D image settings. It works the best, less stutters, less problems. All right, manage 3D settings. I've changed a few in here, so let me walk you through. Image sharpening off, ambient inclusion off. Filtering is application controlled. That's controlled by your game. FXAA off, gamma correction on. Anti-aliasing mode, application controlled. That's going to be controlled by your game. Transparency off, background off. GPUs, you want all of them used. System fallback policy, driver default. Low latency mode off. Max frame rate off. G-Sync capable device, obviously. And then MFAA off, OpenGL auto, OpenGL rendering GPU, auto select, power management mode. You can go back and forth. I'm gonna do preferred maximum performance. Some people do normal. It's up to you. I like preferred maximum performance. I think that one works a little bit better. I'm not worried about my build. Shader cache side driver default. And then we're gonna go off, allow, quality on, threaded optimization auto, triple buffering off, vertical sync, just use the application, and then one off and then auto, and then make sure you hit apply, then it all will take effect in your game. Now jump down to adjust video color settings. You want to make sure, usually it's going to be under use the video player settings. You want the Nvidia settings. So then you can use all of this and adjust your brightness, contrast, hue, saturation. You can go to advanced. You go advanced, you want full. You don't want limited. See how I put limited? I had this full the other day, but the game updated and it put it back to limited. I don't know why it does that, but it does. It makes absolutely no sense. You have multiple displays. You can set it up here. I've already set those up. Let's go to adjust desktop size and position. Just make sure all of those scaling, like I said before, make sure your fresh race right and your resolution. And hey guys, if you like videos like this, go ahead and click and touch the screen now and check out what the new meta is and all the loadouts you're gonna need. And I'll catch you in the next one.